this out.
You're gonna learn today.
Welcome to Lakeside Chats. Your host, Brother John Muhammad, here with a beautiful panel. Another edition, and we always welcome you to join us for an informal conversation about hot topics and just general things. This format really allows us to share with you some of the things that we see as problems and opportunities within our community, and we like to invite you to join us for the chat. You can go to facebook.com/We Believe and Do Good, add your thoughts, and join in. So welcome to Lakeside Chats. Our first guest is Brother Crutel Mack.
How you doing? All right, I'm Crutel Mack, owner of No Excuses Fitness Center. I'm a jack of all trades, but a master of none. I try to know a little bit about everything, but right now my key emphasis is trying to bring life back to the community and spread awareness in every aspect that I can.
Excellent. Brother Royce.
My name is Brother Royce Wheeler. I'm an owner of Certified Taxes. Got an office on Central Avenue. I also own a website called The Ticket Plug. We provide tickets for concerts, sporting events, theater, whatever you need. I try to be involved in the community as much as possible. I'm part of a group called Black Unity Tampa. I'm very much a part of the RBG movement, and I'm just looking pretty much for any type of ways to improve the community, and that's pretty much what I'm about.
All right. And you, sir?
Hi, my name is Kofi Hunt. I am a local community builder. I've been called an organizer. I don't know what that means, that's why I'm
right.
making the words. But I like to work in the community, bring people together on important issues, and try to move things forward. I like to learn, and so that's what I'm here to learn.
Excellent.
And I'm associated with the Fight for 15, so I can talk about that a little bit.
Okay, but that's not all that you do, right?
No.
We don't want to put you in a Fight for 15 bag, right? And that's the wonderful thing about our community is we all can do many different things, and we have been organizing the Stop the Violence movement, and one of the pieces that we're looking to bring is a community skills bank where we can assess and identify what it is that people do and do well, and then start to organize around those skills. And one of the questions that I asked the group, I said, okay, what is it that you do? And I could do it all. I could do everything. But one of the challenges with that is just trying to find what you do best and then have everybody stay in their lane and work together. So we want to make the transition. I know at No Excuses Fitness, you have this saying that says, live in fitness every day, right?
Yeah,
life. So tell me a little bit about that and how you came up with that saying.
The whole thing in a nutshell is everybody wants things right now. We're in the right now age with social media. The attention span is 15 seconds, Instagram.
Right.
Nobody wants to do anything. Nobody wants to work hard for anything. Everybody wants a pill. Everybody wants a quick fix.
Right.
So when I came up with life, the mindset was it's not a sprint but a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take your time in life and keep striving, because you're gonna fall down. You're gonna have your setbacks. You're gonna have obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
And when you live in something every day, that's embedded in you. You don't have to worry about that going away. No matter what happens, you're gonna have your down days. You're gonna have your good days. But overall, though, you're gonna be able to capture the moment and live to the very best.
Right. Excellent. So Royce, I know we talk about a lot of the different issues that we have in the community, right? And so how important do you think healthcare, because I know with taxes you got to sign people up for healthcare and all of that stuff. So how's that affecting our community, and what are some of your thoughts on that?
Well, health, it definitely is very large factor in the community. Definitely stuff such as me, I believe in holistic health.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally, health. It's so many things in our food.
Right.
So many things that's done differently than how it should be, and it's affecting our kids. Kids are growing up faster than they should be. As far as their bodies and their minds. So me, with getting into a lot of books and a lot of reading. I try to maintain a healthy life. At one point, I had some heart issues, and that's when I really caught on to holistic health. I started reading stuff by Dick Gregory,
Right.
and all those type of things. And I started
You're a
realizing,
young man, so you say you had some heart
I'm 30
issues.
years. I'm 30 years old. And, you know,
Right.
I playing football. Found out I had a heart murmur. You know, and I found out that, you know, I couldn't play anymore.
Right.
You know, and the doctor actually was telling me, he was like, you know, no more heavy working out, no more doing anything. And he tried to give me some prescriptions, and I was like, man, you know what? You know, I asked him some of the side effects. I'm listening to all these side effects. I said, no, that ain't for me. I went and bought a holistic health book. I followed the instructions for, you know, my ailment in the holistic health book.
Right.
And I feel so much better.
Yeah.
And that's what really opened my mind up to, you know, seeing, you know, what a lot of these doctors are out here for, and seeing that, you know, everything isn't great how they say it is. You know, you get a prescription for one thing and it hurts another.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and it's not the way. You know, you have to think about, you know, hundreds of years ago, you know, our ancestors still lived to 90 to 100 years old, and there was things they were doing that we don't have access to right now.
Right.
I mean, they don't have access. I mean, they didn't have
We
access
have
to the
access,
things
right.
that we have access to. So you gotta, it's organic, man. You got to think organically and think about things like that.
Right. And then Kofi, I know in your circles that you see a lot of people that's dealing with the organic, and there's a lot of stuff with community farming and all of that. How do you think that can play into our desire to build the community? I mean, is it essential for us to grow our own food and have our own food, or should we continue to support the merchants of death?
That's a pretty leading question.
I kind of let you right into that. Yeah, we should just all die and
Let's support the merchants of death.
But
No.
so how can you organize
It's
around
hard.
that movement?
It's hard, right? I mean, the fact is that, like, the entire economy's been constructed for us. We don't have an option of how we're gonna move within it, really. For the most part, I mean, one of the simplest examples, you know, doing a little Christmas shopping, I'm like, well, I don't want to shop at Walmart, but if I want to buy something like simple like a teapot, like, where am I supposed to buy a teapot? Like, Walmart's right there in the Target, there's a mall. You know what I mean?
So you saying that it's really,
I mean, back in
it's
the
the
day,
illusion of choice, right?
yeah, it's illusion of choice. Back in the day, there might have been like a little store that sold that, like, you know, someone from the neighborhood sold like a teapot, and I could buy it from them, and they could feed their family and contribute back to the community. That doesn't exist anymore, right? And if it does exist, it's like tucked away somewhere, so you don't know. I mean, I absolutely think that we need more of a local economy. I think a significant percentage of our economy should be local, and I think that the big box stores and the big people that are pushing everything out, I honestly think, I'm a little radical, I think they should pay a tax. I think they should pay a tax. If you're harming our community by coming in here, you should be contributing more to go for the upliftment of the community. That should go directly into uplifting small businesses and things like that. I absolutely do think we should have local farms, you know, not necessarily make money, because, you know, we're not an agrarian society anymore for a reason. You know, they say they didn't end the Stone Age.
You said
sorry.
Yeah, help
we're
me
not
with that word.
we're not a farm-based economy anymore.
Okay, got it.
You know
got
what
it,
I mean? They said, like, the Stone Age didn't end because they ran out of stones, and we didn't stop being a farm-based economy because we didn't need to eat anymore. It's just we found a more efficient way to do that, and we had to move over to another economy. So we're in a post-industrialized economy right now.
Right.
That's so. Basically, with that, I absolutely do think we should have farming so that people can, like, learn to, like, grow and have some sort of personal thing to themselves. But that's more for personal enrichment, not for making money. And we need to make a society that's not so based on everybody chasing money, because money should be a tool.
Right.
And stuff like growing your own food should be something you do for your personal enrichment.
So
And
let me ask you this: does anybody at the table grow their own food? You got to.
I have before, yeah.
You've grown something.
I've grown collard greens. I've grown sweet potatoes. I've done pretty much all that.
Because I see, like at the YMCA, they have these different, you know, community-based gardens, but I'm not just, you know, for sure.
I've been a recipient. I haven't.
You've received
Yeah,
some
yeah,
homegrown.
Yeah, several times.
So is there a noticeable difference
Taste, yeah.
in the taste of what you?
10,000 times fresher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instantly, just a good feeling in your bloodstream.
Right. Well, you can actually get the nourishment out of it, not all of the chemicals and the processing.
You can tell the difference.
Right.
And just to chime in on what you were saying, you saying that it wouldn't be for financial gain, but it would be financial gain, because you wouldn't be out here spending all this unnecessary money on nonsense.
So what you is, and I see the financial gain too is once you eating healthier, then you spending less on health care. You know, and just all of this other foolishness.
And that's the part that kind of bothers me, because, you know, I tell people, you know, when you look over on the south side, you don't see rolling notes. And some of these health food stores, or you don't see the stuff that we actually like. You know, you don't see any of that. So, and the part that I don't understand is, I don't understand why someone would think that we wouldn't contribute to stuff.
Right. Why they don't think we want it.
Why we wouldn't shop, you know what I'm saying? And when you sit there and think about it, it's like, man, are they really trying to kill us? Like, do they want to kill us? Is that the reason why we don't have this stuff in our community?
I mean, that's something that you don't even have to ask the question. All you got to do is just look. Liquor store, churches, Burger King, McDonald's. In a line, that's all you got to look at. You go further north county. What do you see? You see Earth Origins. You see Trader Joe's. You see the organic restaurant right next to Earth Origins. Right. You see the fitness store right next to that one.
Whole Foods.
Yeah. And it's just a continuous thing. Over here, it's the same. It's the same.
So it's not that the demand is not there, because we would support it if it was accessible, but we just don't have access to it, and that's something that we really, as organizers and activists, I think that needs to be highlighted.
And we can't keep on saying that is from the lack of education, because we do have Fresh Market right downtown. They do have the thing on 22nd Street, but it's only like once a month.
Okay.
It's not a daily thing.
Not a consistent thing where it
should be there daily.
Right.
Why should I have to drive 5 miles to get a fresh tomato?
Yeah, now those are just fundamentals of everyday living, and I remember watching like those old movies where you see, you know, people that actually go to the store every day to buy vegetables. They didn't have vegetables that stayed on the shelf and everything. That's one of the things that happen when you're shooting in the hood.
You already know that.
So that's a good. Let's just take a break. We'll take a few seconds, and then we'll come back to continue our lakeside chat.
Cool.
All right. All right, so we welcome back to the Lakeside Chat. We were talking about the economy and among other things, and I really want to pick up where we left off when we talked about having that local economy and how we can get our own local economy and develop those things. Like we had historically, what Crutel mentioned was the Black Wall Street and, you know, Rosewood, and we had all of these examples of a community. And so you were mentioning about like the industrialized, commercialized places like the Popeyes and those things.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've had a few places shut down, and I mean, we see, you know, stuff like Midtown is being built up and stuff like that. But I don't know exactly who's putting the ideas out there, but there should. I don't see why, you know, why we don't have anything in our part of the city yet. You know, they're starting to build it up, they're starting to bring stuff along, but I mean, it's not the right things.
Right. I mean, like,
it's not the right things health-wise. I mean, you know, I still feel like we should, because they're black-owned businesses. So I still feel like, we should still support. You know, support.
So you have that mix where you want to support a black-owned business, but you also want to support. It's like a contradiction. So explain that a little bit more, just
because you can't. I mean, how can I support you when I know that you are completely wrong? Everything that you're doing is not to build up the community. It's all for profit.
Right.
You're saying that you want to build up the community because you want to bring about social time and things like that.
Economic development.
Yeah. But if it's still not better for the overall picture, the big picture, then why are we supporting that?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said like ideas, right? Like, you know, it's like we have to have a plan ourselves, is basically where I'm getting at. Like, we have to kind of set how do we want our community to look economically, and then once we have that plan, we gotta bring people around that plan. I mean, we've seen things like the 2020 plan, everyone knows about. That was a plan. And then once they had the plan, then they went and found people with money, and they said, now we're going to finance this plan.
Right.
And then we're going to push it through. It's the same thing, like, and that's going to happen, right? This is land. Money, people get stuck on money. Like, wealth is where it's at. And the thing is, they're gonna dump money in this neighborhood because for them it's cheap, and they're gonna develop it. You're seeing them go on 22nd Street, but it's because they have ideas, they have a plan. We have ideas. We just need to put those ideas together, make a plan. Then we fund the plan, and you hit on the right thing. We need to do it for the betterment of the community, not for profit. Because when people do profit, you're extracting, and then that's not really helpful.
Right. And so how much, to segue into education, how much does education play a part in that? Because you always hear people when they talk about community development and health and all this, they always go back to education or the parents or the house. So how much, particularly financial literacy and just education about money and education about economic development, how much does that play a part into why we have what we have?
To me, education without resources is like learning to fish without having a fishing pole.
Right.
So I think education has to always come with resources. Like people say to me, education is the key. I say education is the door. Money is the key.
Right.
You can't.
Absolutely. Right. What would you say on that?
Definitely. I mean, I definitely understand what you're saying. It's hard, because I always feel like, I seen somebody make a comment the other day saying it's not all about the parents. It's not. Well, we are the first teachers.
Right.
When they come out of the womb, we are the first teachers, and we set the standard for pretty much, how things are gonna be done.
Right.
Before we send you off to school.
So yeah, you definitely can't overlook the importance and the value of parents.
Oh no.
But sometimes even the parents don't have the education, that's required, and so it's like that generational thing,
Sometimes there are no parents.
Yeah, sometimes you just have what we call offspring.
Yeah.
Where they just kind of they're here.
And
They're here.
I mean, we might have to get back the mentality of it takes a village to raise a child.
Right.
It definitely, it definitely, because I know my son personally. When I send him somewhere, I want him to have it in his mind that these people will go treat you just like I treat you.
Right. So with the curriculum, how important is that? Because a lot of times I'm finding that, they talk about how the students are being bored and they're being distracted. But if you keep it interesting, I'm sure that they'll be involved and more engaged with the educational process. So what are your thoughts on
I've always thought that, like especially things like science. I feel like a little boy should be outside exploring, going to get the water out the lake and coming back and putting it underneath the microscope.
Right.
You got a 5 or 6 year old and you just got him in a desk all day. How much is he going to pay attention to? He wants to get loose. He wants to be outside.
Right.
He wants to explore. And then, like, when you're getting older, also, why won't we talk the things that we actually need in life?
Yeah.
Real estate, credit, finances, stocks, bonds, all the things that were taught at certain schools.
Yeah.
But it's,
in our school, we didn't get taught.
We don't have the time for that.
Right.
You want to keep telling me about something that never existed. But
proven theories, but not necessarily giving me practical tools that I can use, right?
In the day-to-day life.
Right.
Stuff that's important.
What's your thoughts on the curriculum?
I'm definitely with him on that. I think it's more, it just needs to be expanded on. I think that, we're told half truths. We're told that, just like Columbus, they were scared that the earth was flat, you would fall off. It was, okay, they were the only ones scared because Africans, Mexicans, they was around here, we were in boats.
Right.
We were sailing from country to country. We would make, land. We was walking from country to country. They were scared.
Right. So that's
the type of stuff that needs to be expanded on. Some of these kids need to be able to relate to some of the stuff that you're talking about.
I never learned about Black Wall Street until I went to prison.
Exactly.
Which is sad because they don't understand that it was black millionaires in the 30s and the 20s.
And that's a lot of money back then.
Well, the dollar circulated 30 times in the community before it left. Now it circulates 0 times.
Right. I think they said maybe 6 hours is the last thing.
You got people, like I say, man, you got people such as, Frederick Douglass, man. These people, he was out there as a kid all by himself, no parents. You know what I'm saying? And look at, look at, you have to let these kids know that. Just like, I taught my son about Lewis Latimer. Nobody knows about Lewis Latimer. Nobody talks about him. You know what I'm saying? And
so tell us real quick, Lewis Latimer. Just give us the.
Well, he was a great inventor. He did a lot of things for Thomas Edison and people like that he didn't get credit for. That think about people like Thomas Edison was where he was a genius at was he surrounded himself around people that knew how to do the stuff, and he took the credit for it. He got the patent. Y'all do this, and I'll go get the patent for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's where he was a genius, and he really got the patent for these people.
Right.
You know?
But Lewis Latimer was one of the ones.
Lewis Latimer, man, he was very much involved in power, electricity, all those type of things. You know.
Right.
And I mean, he ended up, getting a lot of his credit. He ended up making money. He wasn't a poor man all his life, but
that's one of the exceptions.
You never hear about him in school. You never ever hear about Lewis Latimer. I went and bought him a book. I went and bought him a poster. I made sure that he knew about this, man. And I let him know. Listen, when you create stuff, man, you can't go out here, man, and look for people to do stuff for you. You have to make sure all the credit is in line yourself.
And that's another good point about when we talk about curriculum and dealing with parents. Like that's part of our job too, is to redefine what a hero looks like, because that's what it seems like you're doing with him, as opposed to getting him a poster of LeBron James. You get him a poster of a great black inventor and somebody that you can look up to that's not necessarily a sports figure or something like that as well. Now, Kofi, if we wanted to change the curriculum, because this is the organizer activist, and what would it take for us as a community to say, you know what, we don't like what's being taught in these schools, and we want to change that curriculum? What would that type of movement look like?
Well, typically someone would say you should do advocacy, but to me advocacy is tantamount to begging, because they have the power and you're like, do this, please, and then they say, okay, I think what we need to do is build a movement. We need to build energy, we need to build power in the way that it's not a question of whether or not they're going to jump, it's a question of how high.
Okay.
Like right now you see that with the schools, because you had this whole thing started about how schools in
School to Prison Pipeline?
Yeah, the School to Prison Pipeline. Well, the Failure Factories articles and the School to Prison Pipeline that's present nationwide. And so it's created this sort of energy here, which honestly, in my view, is not really being captured by anybody right now. There's a lot of, they have forums where they talk about the problems and they say, someone needs to do something. And then they have another forum, someone needs to do something.
And nobody does anything.
And the school boards now, they're getting to the point where okay, well, we have some remedies that were suggested at one of these forums and we're going to try to do them. But if the community's not part of that, I don't really think it's going to get that far, for one thing, because governing bodies oftentimes are about putting out fires. So when a big hubbub starts, they want to push it down enough that people stop complaining, and then they'll kind of go on to something else because they got a lot of stuff to worry about. So if it's our priority, we need to take up our priority. We need to keep pushing until we get it, and once we get it, we need to make sure it sticks.
Right.
And then we need to move on to the next thing. And the thing is, we need to stay involved. People get involved in a crisis and they jump back out. You have to stay involved. Activism has to be part of your life.
Right.
It goes back to making a plan thing.
And then with the whole, you brought up a good point about what they call them failure factories in schools. Did you all go to school here in Pinellas County?
Yeah.
So what was some of your experience with that? Just school in Pinellas County.
I was fortunate enough in elementary school to be able to go to a private school at Central Christian, and that was probably the greatest thing that ever happened, because between middle school and high school, it was a mess.
Right.
Just to be honest, in high school, I was pretty advanced in math in the beginning, and then my 9th grade year, my teacher died, so we had a substitute, and he just pushed you through 10th grade. It was just a blur. I don't remember any of it.
Right.
They just push you through. It was like as long as you showed up, you got a B or a C.
Right. It was really no expectation to perform. It was just as long as you.
Yeah, and
the social promotion is what they call it, right?
Yeah, and it was it's crazy that how far advanced I was coming from elementary to middle school, and then it was it was halted as soon as I came to the public school system.
Right.
It was like it just stopped. It was like no more growth process or anything like that. And it was good that my foundation was already built, so I was able to do things on my own, to go seek and learn for myself.
Right.
I've never been a person that sat around and just listened to anybody else. I always want to know why.
Right.
Why.
Right.
So,
what was your experience like with Pinellas County schools?
My experience really was kind of through elementary and middle school. I was a chubby little kid, so I had my little social issues. I always got my work done. I did always just enough to make sure I stayed on the football field, made sure I was able to do that. But one thing I always remember was, you had those kids that used to walk around the school with no book bag, no none of that. You know, then eventually they stop coming, or either they're in the GED program, or you know they doing stuff. But you could tell, you could get that vibe from them that
see where it was going.
you could see where it was going.
Right.
Now, me personally, I feel like, you know, like I was telling him, you know, you got schools such as P-Tech. You know, there's no reason why I feel like you should be able to identify certain troubles in certain kids. When they 13 or 14. You know, when you have a guidance counselor, you know, a guidance counselor, I feel like, okay, if you see this kid is not interested in school, let's try to go ahead and push him to get that GED. Go maybe take advantage of a program like P-Tech, where as long as they're under 18, they get the trade for free.
Right.
You know, he's 16 years old. Push him on the P-Tech, get him a trade. See what he's interested in and try to get him in there. And try to, you know what I'm saying, by the time he's 18, these kids have graduated from high school, he has a job. He's out here ready for the real world while these kids are going to college. He's making money.
Right.
You know, he has some kind of something to look forward to. But they let him go. They let him go too fast.
They come in and
they come in, man.
You can see the signs and see the handwriting on the
know,
wall, but if you don't make anything, you don't do anything to correct it and have another route. And I think I did see they were talking about looking at changing this path where you got some that they know going on the 4-year route, and then you got some that'll be doing trade, but I'm not sure where they are in the process. Maybe we can find out.
But they're making a mess of a whole lot of that stuff though, because when I went and spoke at St. Pete High, they were discussing that now they're gonna take away all the guidance counselors from the schools and just use like 2 or 3 for all the schools.
So one counselor to go to each school.
Kids are saying that it's already taking 2 and 3 weeks to get an appointment.
With the counselor that's staffed for the
Yeah,
school.
with four counselors.
Okay.
So now you're saying that you're going to have 2 or 3 for 4 schools. So
what kind of guidance can you really get? Right.
How can I build a rapport with somebody who actually knows me? All you're doing is just looking at a file and saying, okay, well, he has this, so he's going to do this. Or we're not even going to waste the time with this one because
they do that. They'll look at
at
the stats and say, okay, well, based upon this, statistically, he's just gonna fall off by the wayside anyway. So we'll just let him go. They'll just let them, fall out.
Then you have kids like autistic kids. They want to medicate him. No, this kid is a genius.
Right.
Put him in an arts program. You don't know what he can do.
Right.
But they're so quick to medicate kids, to give them this, to give them that. I train like a lot of young kids, and they come in and they're taking all type of pills, and I'm big on the holistic stuff like you. So, I mean, you take a pill for a pill, and now you just everything. You're so dependent on everything that don't even matter in life.
Right. All right, let's take a quick break. Look like we all got distracted by the kids. So we're gonna take a break. All right, welcome back to the Lakeside Chat, and we're having a wonderful discussion covering a lot of ground. And so what we want to do at this point is we really want to just encourage everybody to take something from what you got, what you heard from the chat, and do a little research. Help us. Maybe you can leave some comments. We want to organize. We want to continue to work and build a movement around this conversation, but it's just giving you an idea of some of the things that we can do, some of the problems that we're facing, some of the effects that those problems are having on us, and also some solutions that we have in the community. So in this last segment, what we like to do is maybe if there's something that's really burning within you as far as challenges that we have as a community, if you'd like to maybe say a few words about it, and then how we can actually get involved to solve some of those problems. So I started with you, so let me start with Kofi.
One of my current projects is a little kind of community coalition called St. Pete for Justice. We work on different things, but right now what we're working on is helping to push civil citations for small amounts of marijuana in the city and in the county. We think that we can build energy with this and move forward to bigger and better things.
So you said civil citations for small amounts of marijuana.
Yeah.
What prompted that type of action?
Well, Miami-Dade County passed an ordinance for it, and then our city and our county were looking at it. So kind of my philosophy and the philosophy of people I work with is like the community has to be part of these conversations. So our role is kind of organize the community, make sure they're aware, make sure they're educated, and make sure they're in the room when these things are happening.
Now, Steve Cornell, I think he led a discussion with the city council recently.
Yeah,
What happened with that?
Steve Cornell, he's pushing it. He's pushing it big on the racial disparities, the fact that Black people and Latino people in some areas are overwhelmingly arrested a lot more than white people, even though studies have shown Black people don't smoke weed more than white people. So, he's pushing it hard on that. Ken Welch is pushing on the county level as well.
Okay.
So we have champions in City Hall. We just need some champions in the community to stand up as well, help bring more people out. And so that's what we're talking about for this first part. But we're hoping to build energy to move things forward going for the future.
Excellent. Thank you. And Royce?
Pretty much, my main goal is pretty much the youth. I'm trying to, this year, like I was speaking on Wednesday, I'm trying to come up with a tax program for these kids, where you get somebody to train them and they can come in the office and, do taxes and make money, but my main thing is the youth.
Right.
It's,
so you said do taxes as a business model?
Yeah, pretty much, I want to, it's pretty much training, once they learn it, it's something that, they can do forever. It's something that they can't hold them back. I'm not going to try to hold them back. I want them to learn everything I learned.
Right.
I want them to be able to do everything I can do. And, they come in, and instead of, sitting there working hourly, they make their appointments, they do everything, and they make their money. And they continue to go on about business as usual,
Right.
And eventually, hopefully when they get older, they can have their own office.
Right.
So
and taxes is a pretty good
it could be lucrative. If you can maybe have 300-400 clients and you retain those clients, and every year for the rest of your life until you're ready to stop, you got those clients plus more.
Right.
It's pretty much it's self-made, self-paid.
Excellent.
So those are the type of things I'm really into, and I'm into like I said, finding these youth early, 13, 14 years old, and getting on, pretty much trying to get them a game plan. If you're not interested in school, it's okay. It's other things you can do. You can go to community college, you go to SPC, you go anywhere, get your GED, you go anywhere.
Right.
And get your education. My little sister, she was in a program where, once she turned 16, she went to SPC for 2 years. You get your GED, now you got 2 years, to get your trade.
Right.
She graduated from SPC, you graduate from P-Tech, whatever, you got a good job, making 15 or 20 hours. She goes to school for 4 years. Both of y'all are still on the right track.
Right.
So
it's not just like a one-size-fit-all as it relates to education and the career path. You just have to be able to identify what works for you.
Yeah, my father, he dropped out of high school, went to Job Corps, went to the military, and worked for the IRS.
Right.
He dropped out of high school at 14 years old. He took this path. So I've seen it.
Right.
I've seen it firsthand. I've seen, what can be done. So I just want to really just encourage these kids out here, encourage their parents, because their parents are going to have to be the ones to sit down and come up with this game plan with them.
And then you said you have a website, like if we wanted to get in touch with you.
Oh yeah, well my right now I'm doing a website. It's called the Ticket Plug. We just selling tickets. But right now, that's the only thing, I got going as far as
and then we can get you on Facebook.
Oh yeah, on Facebook, my name is Royce Wheeler. You can find me. I got a page on there, Certifact Taxes. But I'm definitely on there all the time. I try to, keep, remain a social activist, not try to be too extreme, but I try to make sure that if you're going to know me, I'm going to be real about it, and that I'm going to point out issues. And I'm not a racist person or anything. I want everybody to get along, but it's going to have to be, we're going to have to get along, and it's going to have to be equal.
Right.
Everybody's going to have to win. It's not going to have to be just, we get along with y'all and, everybody else is going to benefit. It has to be equal.
A mutually beneficial relationship with this thing.
Exactly.
Excellent. Thank you again for coming, Brother Royce.
All right.
Kutel.
Okay, I'm currently putting together a program. I'm going to take on 15 young men ages 14 to 18 and just educate them on everything that I've been privy to learn: stocks, bonds, currencies. I'm a lot more than a personal trainer, and a lot of people don't know,
right?
Like a lot of the things that I do know,
but those who train with you, like we know.
so it's just about me just spending time with these young men and giving back as much as I can, all the things that were held back from me and the things that I had to go through hell to learn the hard way.
Right.
And I just want to be able to save a few so they don't have to go down that path. And I want to build like a core group where these kids can stick together and they can depend on each other and they can build that camaraderie and learn from each other and stuff. I don't want to do just a overnight thing, and I don't want to become overwhelmed trying to take on a whole bunch. So I want to do something that I can handle, and I'm putting together the curriculum right now. We're looking to get it started at like the middle of January.
Okay.
And I can be found at No Excuses Fitness, 7109 9th Avenue North, 813-770-2285. Website, www.noexcuses.com with 2 X's for emphasis.
Yeah. yes.
And just pretty much, I'm just here to give back and to try to save a couple lives. That's all, in a nutshell.
Excellent. All right, and that's going to do it for this edition of Lakeside Chats. And see you next time. Believe and do good.